Me going to Taiwan this year is a result of a lot of things God's been doing in my life.
Okay, so I don't really know where to start, and I was trying to think of that before, because I don't know how to tell a short story or write a short email. But I don't know. Ever since I was younger, I just really had a heart for other countries and missions, and I didn't know what that meant growing up exactly, like where God was going to take me eventually, and I wanted to go to school for missions or something, maybe like intercultural studies or anthropology or something in college. My dad was like, get a practical degree. So I went to school for biochemistry, and then I ended up I still had a heart, like I wanted to go on mission trips in the summer, but I moved out of my house, and so I was on my own, and I just kind of felt like, oh my goodness, I can't do anything I want to do, and now it's taking me 6 years to get out of school because I'm going part-time and paying for it and stuff, and I think in doing that, I don't know, God was preparing me, but at the same time, I kind of lost sight of the end goal, and like where I didn't lose sight of God, I still had the relationship with God, but I just wasn't trying to follow my dream. And then I always thought, I live in a house now, I have a job, I can't just, I'm not moving out of my parents' house and going, I can never do something like that. And a year and a half ago, Jason was at Lake Champion and mentioned Praxis in Taiwan, and I was like, I jumped out of my seat, like my heart started beating faster, like everything, like God was like, hello, pay attention to this, and I was like, I can't do it. Like I can't move out, I have a roommate, but I can't move out on her, what's she gonna do? What am I gonna do with all my stuff? Like, I don't have a house to put it in, I don't have anywhere, stuff like that, and like stuff with my family, and I felt God saying like, hello, don't you see me, don't you hear me, and I don't know if I kind of ignored it, I did, and at that time I was taking the praxis tests, which are the tests you need to take to be able to teach, like if you do alternate route, I don't know if any of you are familiar with that, but praxis, same name, same word, I was like, okay God, I was just like, doing the wrong thing, kind of. And I was taking these tests, and they weren't going well. Yeah, exactly. And I got to a point last summer where I was just like, God, I didn't have a passion for teaching here. Like, I was like, I kind of do want to go to Taiwan. Like, it kept coming up, but I was just like, no, I can't do it. And I didn't even have a passion for anything. And I was like, God, I don't even want to move to another country anymore. Like, I don't know what I want to do. And I prayed this on a Saturday, and I was like, God, just give me a passion for something. I don't care if it's teaching English in Taiwan, fine. If it's teaching here, if it's quitting, my job and going back to school full time to do youth ministry, because I was in youth ministry at my church, or whatever it was. I don't care. I'll go work in a pharmaceutical company, like I have a degree for. I said, just give me a heart to do that. I want to do it. I don't want to just be living life. And the next morning, missionaries came to our church Sunday morning, and they said, entwined in their sermon was, we feel like there's somebody here that you had a heart for missions, and you're searching for what you're supposed to do with your life, and God is saying, like, he wants to pull you out of that fog, and you just got lost in the fog of life, and and it was all of this, and I was just like, okay, God. Like, I was just crying. My brother's looking at me, what is wrong with you? I'm just like, go get me tissues! And I ended up taking classes last year at ATS, a couple classes, and I really feel like I was supposed to take them. Like, it was on purpose, but I still didn't know what that meant. Like, around March, I was still like, okay, God, am I going to be taking more classes next year? Am I going to Taiwan? I still kept thinking it, like, or somewhere else. I was open to anything. I didn't, I knew there was more, but I just didn't know what it was. And then God started speaking to me about it again, about a week before Jason was at Lake Champion again, and he mentioned Taiwan again, and I was just like, okay, God, and something you said, you're like, maybe this is what you're supposed to do, and, God had been saying that to me the week before, I felt. He's like, I felt God saying, like, this is where you're supposed to go. But I was still kind of like, I was scared. I was like, I can't, like, I don't know. I just felt like I couldn't leave. And so then, after I talked to Jason, it was like, that was like the second thing right in a row. And then that whole week afterwards, like, I tried to forget about it. I tried to. Like, my best friend who lives in Idaho called me. She's like, where are you going? God, I feel like you're going somewhere. Like, I didn't tell her anything. Like, wow. I hadn't told her about Taiwan since the year before. She knew it the year before how I felt when Jason brought it up, but and what God had been speaking to me about, but I hadn't talked about it for maybe 6 months. And she's like, where do you think? Or she's like, where are you going? I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, God told me to give you something, so once you figure it out, let me know. I'm like, what? So then a few weeks later, I was like, okay, Rach, her name's Rachel too. I'm like, I think I'm supposed to go to Taiwan. She's like, okay, tell me when you're definitely going. Tell me when you decide for sure, or when you decide to listen to God. Listen to God is what she said. I was like, okay, and I hung up on her. But she still loves me. But a few weeks later, when I finally told God I would obey, my best friend Rachel, she was like, my husband and I have saved money for you. They don't have a job, but they had saved their tax return to support this trip, and they believed in it. God was speaking to them about it as He was speaking to me about it. But point is, the week after Lake Champion, it was just like everything. Like I'd turn on the radio and it would be a song like "Go" or whatever, and like I'd Google something on the internet, and it would be like I would be looking for like Gap stores in New Jersey, let's say, and no joke, Taipei would be in that Google search. Nothing related to it. It would just be there. And I'm like, oh my goodness, okay, God, like 2 or 3 times that happened like that week. And then another thing, like I went on the website to look at the information, and there wasn't very much. And I was like, okay, God, if you want me to go, I need more information without talking to anybody, because I was going to email you, Jason, but I knew if I emailed you, that would be it. Like I'd be going. I was like, God, you need to do. Like I need you to do this, not anybody else. I needed it to be like from God. And so within like 3 days of me saying like, God, I need more information. Whoever had redone the site, and the videos, the pictures, the more information, and I was like, okay, God. And I would just like sit and cry and look at the computer and like see the things like, and as God spoke to me about it. And there are plenty of other things too, like since then, that God's been saying like, this is what you're supposed to do, this is where you're supposed to go. And I would never thought like Asia, I would have never thought Taiwan. I've never been, like the only mission trips I've been on are to Honduras, and they were in high school. And but this like you said, this is what I always wanted to do. And so through praying about it and through seeking God on it, just like trust and stepping out in faith. And you know, I always say like, God, I want to see people healed. I want you to do this in my life. And I just felt Him really saying, you need to trust me totally. You need to step out in faith and do this, and then you'll see those things. They're not going to happen until you totally trust me with my family and with myself and with this whole move thing. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at.